Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. So we have the EVIE skill trailer already out. She's a light bearer support coming as the next raid up hero on the 7th of May. So let's go ahead and get right into it and break it down.
New intelligence received.
EVIE is respected at court for one simple reason. She's precise and she always delivers. She has a real gift for taking a messy situation and figuring out the perfect next move. Time and again, when things looked grim, she's the reason we came out.
So we have the specialization in Supreme Arena and AFK stages. No mention of Dream Realm here, so it does seem to be a PvP or more niche hero, maybe not a must-have. We're going to take a look at her skills, of course. She is hidden and invincible, which is interesting. Magic defense reduction, boosting the effect of your magic damage dealers. Marcel, Freerin, they do come to mind. Immobilize and silence, and stat buffs as well. Really interesting. That could have value for AFK stages. So synergy with Sylvan, who already is dominating AFK stages, Twins, who basically are good everywhere, and Rowan as well. And she has a range of 20. That's also very interesting. She'll never be able to, she'll basically never have range as a limiting factor, so that is good news.
On top, she's my trusted envoy, and I trust her completely. When the battle begins, EVIE teleports to the opposite side of the field, vanishing into the shadows and becoming invincible. While she's hidden, her detection level starts to climb, but every time one of her allies casts their ultimate, the detection level drops. If the detection level gets too high, or if all her other allies are defeated, she becomes exposed and loses her invincibility. While hidden, EVIE first gathers intel on enemy heroes within range, then she works through the remaining enemies one by one, starting with the nearest and moving outward. Each intel gathering attempt takes just a few seconds. Once she's gathered intel on all of them, she returns to her original position and loses her invincibility. When EVIE casts her ultimate, she targets the enemy with the highest cumulative damage dealt and interrogates them for a few seconds. During that time, she continuously deals damage to the target and keeps them immobilized. If she already has intel on that target, the skill also silences them for a while.
Okay guys, there is a lot to unpack in her ultimate ability. She's gathering intel on these enemies, and now it seems like this is providing a magical defense reduction onto them, as you can see from the stat debuff icon over here. She's also going to be invincible and untargetable while she's gathering intel. However, the only thing I want to kind of review is that she gathers intel. Once complete, she continues investigating the remaining enemies one at a time. Priorities from nearest to farthest. Each investigation takes a few seconds. After gathering intel, EVIE teleports back to original tile and loses her invincibility. But the thing was, when your ally casted an ultimate, she teleports to symmetrical tile and enters concealment. While concealed, she's invincible, accumulates detection points every second. She loses detection points each time an ally casts an ultimate. When a detection point reaches set threshold or if all allies are defeated, she is revealed. So you want her detection points to be low, right? But when your allies, and she's going to gain them per second, and then she's at the point of getting revealed, but when your allies cast ultimate, that is going to reduce her detection points, which is good because that's going to keep her concealed for longer. So you want to have her with other ultimate heroes. That's why Rowan was a recommended ally, Sylvan, Twins, who all get off an ultimate pretty early on, Iron even potentially. But yeah, this detection, really interesting magical defense debuff. They didn't really talk about the debuff, but we can see it in action. And when she casts her ultimate, then what does it do again? She interrogates the highest cumulative damage dealt enemy, and she deals damage to them every second, immobilizes them, okay, and also can silence them if she's already gathered intel on them, which probably would be the case because she's gathering intel on everyone right at the beginning. So silence, immobilization, but just on one enemy target, honestly, doesn't seem like enough crowd control. So let's go ahead and take a look at the next skill, which is we're over here. Okay.
EVIE has a real talent for turning intel into a combat advantage. Whenever she gathers intel on an enemy hero, she permanently reduces their magic defense. And once she has intel on all surviving enemies, the entire enemy team suffers an extra magic defense reduction.
Okay, so there's magic defense reduction for each enemy she has intel on, and when she has intel on the entire enemy team, there's a bonus magic defense reduction for all of the enemies. But so she's gonna synergize with magic damage dealers. The thing is, true damage doesn't care about magic defense reduction. So like for example, you have Freerin will have true damage in her kit. That true damage portion is not gonna be affected by this, but any of our magical damage, even Cassie as you're seeing here, even Sylvan, they do have just raw magical damage. That is gonna be boosted in damage output due to this debuff. But yeah, I honestly I'm finding this really strange so far. I was hoping for more like impactful debuff, especially for PvP. Just magic defense shred, honestly, is not going to change the tides of a fight. So she has to have something more in her kit for her to actually be good.
When needed, she jumps into the fight herself, striking the nearest enemy several times with her dagger. And when her allies are in trouble, she uses her skill Foretold Favor to come to their aid. At the start of every battle and at regular intervals afterward, EVIE sends her quill to follow the allied hero who's currently dealing the most damage. While that ally is followed by the quill, they continuously recover health and gain a bonus to their attack.
This is honestly, from these skills, it just seems to lend itself more to boss content or like battle drills. She has a magic defense shred, which is going to boost like Cassidy Sylvan damage. She has an attack buff to the hardest hitting damage dealer on your team. I don't know why they didn't put a dream. I guess she won't be good enough for Dream Realm, but for like battle drills and things like that, she's just looking more like a bosser for me. I'm not seeing the AFK stage angle, and in PvP, I mean, magic defense shred, that is not the most impactful thing you want from your support. So like I don't know, honestly. I am just really confused by EVIE. I'm not liking her so far. But we'll continue on. There's more to this Foretold Favor skill.
Attack. Once that ally has dealt enough damage, the quill shoots a healing orb at each of the 2 weakest allies, restoring their health. After unlocking her exclusive skill, EVIE shares her findings with her allies as soon as she finishes gathering intel on all surviving enemy heroes. For the rest of the battle, enemies deal less damage, and any debuffs they inflict wear off faster.
Okay, this is a powerful exclusive skill. When she gathers intel on the entire enemy team, which is what you're planning to do in most cases, they're going to deal less damage. Now, okay, if this is a substantial reduction in their damage output, then you're seeing the PvP usage, potentially even AFK stage usage if you need that survivability, but I'm still not really seeing the AFK stage angle that much. And then you also have the inflict shorter duration debuffs onto you. I think, okay, this is definitely possible for PvP, especially if she's able to gather intel fast enough. But the thing is, in PvP, if the enemy is just nuking you before EVIE is able to even collect the intel, then she's not gonna have value. But in longer, staller, drawn out fights, she is gonna get off that value. And I think contest really has shifted the meta to more of a stall focused meta, like just about keeping contest alive, silencing all of the enemy, and then they just do not have the damage to break through your team. And so I can definitely see EVIE synergizing with contest, like making an even more mega stall comp. But yeah, I still find her, she's seeming very niche right now. I'm not really too excited about her. I was excited about her before I watched this trailer, thinking potentially she's gonna be useful because support heroes sometimes are crazy. But like, I don't think she's on the par of Hugin. Hugin is still the king of the A-level Lightbearer supports, and I just don't see her really just being that important for much. So let's continue.
Once her exclusive skill is upgraded, enemies also take increased magic damage after EVIE finishes sharing her intel with allies. EVIE never rushes blindly into battle. She likes to get a clear read on the whole battlefield first. The moment a battle starts, she stays hidden and quickly gathers intel to give her team.
So you can see she gathers intel fairly quickly, which is good, and this is what I was expecting. Like she's gathered intel on all enemies, and it was probably only like 6 to 8 seconds in the battle. And then she's gonna have that damage reduction effect onto them, the magic defense boosting damage onto them, and definitely she's gonna give your team a pretty big advantage from that point on. She can attack buff your hardest hitting damage dealer when she can cast her ultimate, but she does begin with really low energy. Like if you see right here, she begins with almost no initial energy. It's gonna take her a while to cast her ultimate, but when she does, she can silence one enemy, she can immobilize them, but honestly just one target is not enough for an impactful. But then she's gonna have some healing, she's gonna have that attack buff to your highest hitting damage dealer, the magic defense shred. I mean, overall, I do see it. I think there is definitely a PvP angle with her, especially she's invincible at the beginning of the fight, you know, reducing the damage output. Depending on the numbers, if it's a heavy damage reduction to the enemies, that is potentially very strong. That's what I'm most interested in. The magic defense shred honestly is not going to change much because like a lot of your damage deals even in PvP are true damage, and that is not going to be affected by this magic defense shred. It's just the magic portion of the damage, but of course it will slightly enhance the damage of your magic damage dealers like Sylvan, like Shamira. So overall, I do think EVIE is interesting, but I'm not convinced really, and I definitely am gonna be waiting for more and actually testing of her. I also think there's a boss angle, like whether it be battle drills or something, because she does give attack buff to one of your hardest hitting damage dealers, and she also has magic defense shred on enemies, which like I mean everything screams, you know, battle drills or something. Let's continue.
Give her team an early edge. As more intel comes in, the enemy's magic defense keeps dropping, while her key allies push forward with her support. At the same time, she sends her quill to follow an ally, keeping them healed and boosting their attack. And when a key enemy leaves an opening, EVIE moves in personally to pin them down and take control of the battle. EVIE doesn't win through blind bravery. She wins by reading the situation perfectly and making her move at exactly the right time.
Okay, so overall, this is EVIE in a nutshell. I think definitely interesting design of a hero, but unless she has some impactful thing going on her Supreme Plus, which they never share in these skill trailer videos, that could be the case. Maybe that is gonna make her even on another level. But for right now, the only interesting thing I find is the damage reduction debuff she has when she collects intel on all enemies. She does gather intel fairly rapidly, probably 6 seconds to 8 seconds into a match. It does seem like that from this hero spotlight. She is gonna collect that information. She is going to reduce their damage output. If the numbers are high enough, it's enough of a damage reduction to these enemies, then I do think that is going to potentially make it good for PvP. For AFK stages, I mean, if you need that extra survival, I can kind of see it. It's also shortening the duration of debuffs enemies inflict. However, really in AFK stages, it's more about like perma CC. It's not really about reducing their damage output. It's just basically not letting them attack at all. Even if you reduce their damage output and you let them still attack, they're still gonna kill you because they're so overtuned. So like I'm not necessarily convinced for the AFK stage angle. I think for battle drills and like, you know, some boss content, maybe not good enough for Dream Realm, but some boss content with her attack buff to the hardest hitting damage dealer, whether you know her Krill following that hero, and then also the magic defense shred. Potentially there's an angle for battle drills, but like overall, I'm not too convinced about her, and I think really at this point I would be very cautious. Also with the collab coming, those heroes potentially could be more impactful. At least from the skill trailer, they do look over. I'm more impressed with them compared to EVIE for right now. And then also we have Nerion coming 1 week after EVIE. EVIE's coming May 7th, and Nerion's going to be coming May 15th. And so we just hardly have, or May 14th, whatever. We just hardly have much time, and like a lot of heroes back to back. And so I would definitely wait and see EVIE. And honestly, as of the skill trailer, I'm not the most impressed by her. But you guys can let me know your thoughts about EVIE in the comment section down below. Are there any other ideas you have that maybe, you know, is gonna make her actually meta for some game mode? And as always, we don't know her Supreme Plus skill. That could be a game changer. It sometimes is for heroes. And we can't make a decision until we have that, of course. But yeah, overall, interesting hero. However, I think not quite good enough for any content to actually be a meta priority. But you guys can let me know what you think. So thank you guys for watching. That is going to be it for this video. I want to see the Nerion skill trailer as well, but I think we're going to have to wait a while for that because he is coming 1 week after EVIE, and so we're going to have to wait a while. But soon we're going to have the collab heroes live on global server. We'll see their full skills. We'll have testing of them, and that is really exciting. I'm hoping that one or maybe both of them are going to be meta for something. Hopefully, finally a collab hero actually being meta. That would be interesting, especially with everyone's favorite IP, basically, that's ever collabed with AFK Journey. But thanks for watching, guys. That's going to be it for this video. And if you're thinking about making a purchase in AFK Journey, please use my affiliate link for the official Farlight store. This is the best way you can support me and also gain 5% bonus dragon crystals on your purchase. My affiliate link is in the description of this video in a pinned comment. And you can actually bookmark this link in your browser. And whenever you're planning to make a purchase, just return to the bookmark link and make your purchase. It will support me and be greatly appreciated. So thanks for watching. I'll hopefully see you in the next video. And until then, everyone, peace out for now.